Mr. Hillary here hasn't answered my question.
Yes.
But he hasn't answered any of our questions. Yet he's seated like a demigod. Father, please. Put that prefix, Mr. Nkemjika.
Love. Ah, love. A force so simple, yet so powerful. It can shape destinies, break barriers, and sometimes destroy everything in its path. 4444 is a story that will make you question how far love can truly go. The title itself carries a haunting weight. The 4th of April, 1944. A single date etched into history, marking the day when the lives of a young couple changed forever. But before that fateful moment, let us journey back. We meet Hillary, a young man returning home from work. As he makes his way through the streets, he finds himself caught in the vibrant rhythm of life. A community celebrating its festival with colors, music, and dance. The beating drums, the laughter, the masquerades. It all stirs something deep within him. Being home feels good, almost too good, and in that brief moment of joy, his heart pulls him back to the memory of how everything began, 17 long years ago. It was the year 1943. Hillary was with his close friend, Vincent. The two men rode together, the air thick with tension as whispers spread across the land. Whispers of independence. Nigeria, they said, was stirring, restless under the grip of British rule. But Vincent dismissed such talk, brushing it aside as foolishness. To him, the thought of breaking free was reckless, impossible. Their conversations soon shifted, as conversations between young men often do. Vincent teased Hillary about marriage, reminding him that his parents had begun searching for a wife for him. But Hillary, determined and ambitious, waved the idea aside. Marriage, he insisted, was the last thing on his mind. His eyes were set firmly on his career, on building a future for himself before tying himself down. Yet, fate has a way of laughing at the plans of men. At home, the family's evening unfolded in its own rhythm. Hillary's father sat with his sister-in-law, who had come once again to request a loan on behalf of her husband. Another business venture, another plea for help. In the kitchen, a beautiful young girl named Teresa carried a tray of yam into the room for Hillary's mother. Her presence was simple, innocent, until Hillary walked in. The moment their eyes met, time seemed to stop. For Teresa, here stood a man, educated, confident, handsome, a striking figure after so long away from home. For Hillary, she was a vision. Beauty wrapped in grace, a face that lit up the room without even trying. She tried to excuse herself politely, but Hillary's eyes followed her, drawn to her every movement. Curiosity got the better of him. "Who is she?" he asked his mother, his voice betraying a fascination he could not hide. And there it was, love at first sight. The very thing Hillary had claimed was far from his mind, now came crashing into his heart without warning. But love's story is never told in one breath. To understand its true cost, we must fast forward. The year is now 1960. Hillary is no longer the young man we met earlier, nor is Teresa the radiant young woman who once captured his heart. She is his wife now, but her mind has become a fragile, fractured place. Teresa suffers from a mental illness that strips her of her dignity and peace. Some days she sits outside, exposed in only her undergarments, her mind lost in a storm no one else can see. Yet, Hillary loves her still, fiercely and unshakably. Every day, he covers her, shields her, sits by her side, and holds on to the memory of the woman he once knew. His love has not wavered, even as everything else has, but the winds of fate do not relent. Beyond the walls of his home, the world begins to close in on him. The community chief summons Hillary before a panel. Mr. Onkamjika is quick to accuse, mocking Hillary for sitting like a demigod, refusing to answer questions about money. £10,000 from the Community Trust Fund cannot be accounted for. Hillary insists there must be a mistake, that he believed he had been called as a witness, not an accused. Onkamjika apologizes, then continues accusing. The district commissioner intervenes. He defends Hillary, reminding everyone of the man's lifelong service, repairing roads, funding businesses, creating wells, all from his own pocket. Making Hillary head of the Community Trust Fund had been the obvious choice. But still, the contractors pressed for answers. Funds for the health center had been paid over a month ago, yet the project hasn't moved. Where is the money? Hillary admits the funds have been received, but explains there's a minor glitch. Glitch. Even the treasurer looks unsettled. Whispers spread through the panel. Has this glitch truly been eating at Nigeria since the beginning of time? Back home, the treasurer, Prince, confesses his fear. He panics, knowing that when the truth comes out, he will be the first arrested. Hillary tries to calm him, promising to find a way to refund the money. He orders Prince to bring him all the community files, hoping to shield him from blame. But the district commissioner arrives, unannounced. Away from the panel, he pleads with Hillary. Tell me the truth. He insists he only wants to help, but Hillary stands firm, repeating the same line. It was just a minor glitch. The commissioner warns him that if he doesn't come clean, Onkamjika will ensure the authorities investigate and arrest him. Prison looms ahead. That evening, Hillary returns home, only to hear chaos erupting inside. Teresa is having another violent episode. She screams, accuses him of trying to kill her, smashes glass, and in the frenzy, cuts their young son's leg. Hillary locks her in her room, tears streaming as he listens to her cries. Inside, Teresa is tormented by hallucinations, seeing visions too terrifying to endure. Her screams grow louder, and Hillary breaks down. Love can be tender, but it can also be terrifying. But what truly happened to Teresa? How did she descend into this state? The film takes us back once again to 1943, when Hillary first tried to woo her. Teresa, cautious of being seen with him, reminded him that her parents were strict. But Hillary's charm pushed through. He asked her to promise to attend the Empire Festival with him in Calabar. She hesitated, claiming she had chores, but her smile betrayed her excitement. Then Hillary offered something special, a photograph. He had been serving for an entire year, 50 shillings just for this moment. He wanted the photo taken with someone he cared about. Teresa, touched, agreed to meet him at the station. Hillary left, elated like a boy who had just found candy. He confided in Father Ketu, declaring he no longer wanted to return to the shipping company. He was ready to marry and settle down. Father Ketu pressed him with questions. Was he sure? Was this truly love and not lust? Hillary, smiling, assured him that he had thought it through. That Saturday, Hillary was so swept up in love, he even volunteered to sweep the church grounds. At the Empire Festival, he and Teresa posed for the long-awaited photograph. The photographer, a white man, doubted they could afford it, until Hillary proudly paid the 50 shillings, savings from an entire year. They posed in black and white, immortalizing their young love. Back to the present, Hillary is at work when government officers arrive. They demand access to the trust fund files immediately. Hillary tries to stall, asking for 2 weeks. They give him until tomorrow. Even at home, the stigma spreads. Neighbors forbid their children from playing with Hillary's family. The mad woman, they whisper. Inside, Teresa, broken and weary, smokes like an exhausted chimney. When Hillary enters, she mocks him. "Have you come to check on the madwoman you married?" But Hillary answers softly, "I didn't marry a madwoman." He sits with her. She offers him a cigarette, and though he doesn't smoke, he accepts, just to make her smile. Teresa begins to cry. Hillary wraps his arms around her, holding her as tightly as he can, because despite everything, the scandals, the accusations, the madness, his love for her has not died. Later that day, Hillary was with his daughter Vero. He notices her quiet sadness and gently asks if she's all right. Vero brushes it off, explaining that Lillian had a small incident with a schoolmate's mother. But Hillary sees deeper. This is more than a passing mood. He comforts her, telling her how much he appreciates her sacrifice. She's a teenager, meant to be carefree, chasing friends and boys her age. Yet here she is, shouldering the burden of a mother within the household. Hillary assures her that he sees it all, and he is grateful. And just like that, the story pulls us back in time. Back to 1943, 1 year before the invasion, before D-Day. Hillary is preparing to leave for work, but Teresa begs him to stay. She pleads he can lie that he's sick, just this once. But Hillary shakes his head. He cannot. He promises it's only for 2 weeks. Teresa coughs, lightly, playfully, trying to hold him back. Perhaps she's expecting. No, just a trick to keep him close. They laugh, they tease, they exchange tender words of love. Their affection is innocent, almost childlike. But duty calls, and Hillary must leave. Teresa waves as he boards the boat. But yeah, things are about to turn darker. Back in the present day, we find Teresa locked in the room where she's often chained during her episodes. She cries out to her children, Jude, James, begging them to release her. Meanwhile, Vero has left home to bring food to her father at work. Hillary panics when he realizes his wife is unattended. He races home, only to find Lillian cradling the baby. But the boys are missing. The chain room is open. Teresa is gone. Frantic, Hillary searches every corner, calling out, James! Jude! But then, relief. He finds them safe, asleep on their mother's chest. For a moment, peace returns to the house. The next morning, he's awakened by classical music, drifting through the air. The house feels alive again. The children are happy. Teresa is in the kitchen cooking with the girls. A good day has returned. Hillary kisses her and answers a knock at the door. It's his cousin, Vincent, the same cousin who once fetched him from the boats. Over a shared meal, Vincent teases Hillary about marriage, joking he'll only wed when the law allows 10 wives. Laughter fills the room, but beneath the laughter lies tension. Vincent asks about Teresa's health. Hillary admits she has her moments, sometimes just a day of peace, sometimes weeks. Vincent warns him. Nobody expected this marriage to last. In fact, the family wouldn't protest if Hillary took another wife. But Hillary quickly changes the subject. Vincent presses again, this time about missing funds at the health center. Hillary deflects once more. The secret remains hidden, for now. The story shifts again, back to the past. Hillary's father is visited by his brother's wife, once again begging for money to fund another business. The old man, weary of her endless requests, refuses. He reminds her that despite his care, he cannot keep giving. Perhaps, he says, if she had children, she'd understand responsibility better. Those words cut deep. Furious, she spits back. If children are so easy to have, why did you only manage one? Is Hillary even your real son? The cruel words hang in the air as she storms out. Teresa, passing by, overhears but pretends not to. She enters softly, asking about Hilary's return. The day Hilary finally arrives, Teresa waits by the harbor. She sees him lifting other young women off the boat and storms away, wounded. Hilary chases after her, trying to explain, assuring her that she is his only focus. Teresa, half angry, half playful, finally admits she misses him too. Slowly, they edge closer to marriage. She wonders aloud if his parents will approve of her as a wife. Hilary smiles with certainty. Of course they will. Their bond deepens, marked by innocent jokes, stolen glances, and the word that became their shared promise. Oya, a simple word borrowed from Lagos docks, becomes their symbol of love. Oya, let's get married. Oya, let's live forever. By the 1960s, the weight of years hangs heavier. Teresa, often seated outside, watches Hilary return home. She asks about his work, about the community center. She notices his scent, the perfume he once bought her, and teases him about other gifts he may have given. They share stolen intimacy, but always under the shadow of her condition. Meanwhile, bitterness brews elsewhere. Hilary's father, younger brother's wife, rages, blaming him for their childlessness. In lighter moments, Hilary and Teresa talk about children, whether they should adopt, whether love alone would be enough. Soon, Hilary approaches her father formally, seeking her hand in marriage. He promises to love her forever. The father accepts with one condition. Hilary must return with his family to make the request properly. Laughter and food seal the day. And then it arrives. April 4th, 1944. Their wedding day. But even joy is not safe. During the celebration, the same bitter, childless woman approaches Teresa. With a smile, she wipes her body with a white handkerchief and offers her a drink. It is poisoned. That single act, hidden beneath the noise of drums and dance, sets in motion decades of suffering. Teresa survives, but the damage is done. The poison lingers in her brain, sowing the seeds of the torment we've witnessed. Back to the 1960s, we see her in prayer on one of her lucid days. Vero enters, preparing to travel for exams. Teresa blesses her, thanking her daughter for being the family's strength when she could not. When Vero asks about the woman who cursed her life, Teresa whispers, "I have forgiven her, but I will never forget." Meanwhile, Hilary tries to settle debts. He even considers selling his car to recover the missing community funds. But the investigation closes in. The CID demands documents. Yet, Hilary produces unrelated files, stalling, dodging questions. The whispers about stolen money grow louder. Frustration grips the community with the slow pace with which the investigation has been going. And so the community decides to take matters into their own hands and supervise the investigation. At this moment, Hilary gazes out the window, lost in thought, when suddenly he hears his youngest daughter, Lillian, calling out in distress. He rushes outside to find her panicked, trying to explain that something is wrong with her mother again. And then, the sight that meets him is heartbreaking. Teresa, in the grip of another violent episode, is slamming her head against a pillar. Hilary rushes to her side, wrapping his arms around her, whispering comfort, trying to shield her from herself. But Teresa, in her torment, lashes out, slapping him again and again. And yet, Hilary endures. He does not raise his voice. He does not strike back. He simply holds her. This, truly, is love under fire. Later, desperate to ease the crushing weight of his family's struggles, Hilary walks into a bank, hoping for a loan. But the banker's words are cold and firm. Without putting his house up as collateral, there will be no help. Another door closed. That night, he drowns his pain in a bar when the district commissioner joins him. The man tries to play the role of ally, urging Hillary to come clean about the mounting suspicion surrounding him. Even as Hillary admits he has been offered bribes before, he insists that dipping into public funds was never his choice. It was necessity. His words hang heavy in the smoky air. The night turns darker when a stranger approaches, peeling prostitutes he calls foxes. But Hillary's patience snaps. Grabbing the man by the throat, his eyes blaze with fury as he warns, "If you ever speak about my wife again, you'll regret it." And with that, he storms home, only to find Teresa and the children standing in the rain. Teresa, exhausted, broken, whispers that she's tired. She no longer wants to live. She feels she has failed as a wife, failed as a mother. And little Lillian, too young to understand the full weight of her mother's suffering, simply stands there, watching. It is a scene soaked in sadness. The next day, Veronica returns home from her exams, only to be startled by the sight of a strange woman sweeping inside their house. "Are you here to see someone?" she asks, cautiously. But the woman replies flatly, "No. I live here now. I am your father's new wife." Shocked and hurt, Veronica runs to confront her father. Hillary, weary but gentle, insists that he has not remarried, that the woman is only there to help around the house. "I am sorry," he tells her. "I will fix everything." But before the wounds of that conversation can heal, the CID arrives with a court subpoena, demanding documents and threatening arrest if Hillary fails to comply. As pressure mounts, Hillary sends the woman away, apologizing to his daughter for the confusion. Yet, tragedy strikes again. Teresa goes missing. Panic grips the household, and Hillary enlists his friend Vincent to help search. Along the way, Hillary finally confesses the heavy truth he has hidden for so long. He had indeed taken the community's money, not out of greed, but to pay Teresa's medical bills and to fund a business venture that failed. "I had no choice," he says, broken. But Vincent is furious, and their argument erupts before Hillary drives him out of his office. Moments later, the CID arrives, arresting Hillary and sealing off his factory. Though released on bail, his shame is now public. The community gathers, and Hillary stands before them, heart pounding. He admits the truth openly. Yes, he spent the community's money, and no justification can excuse it. He declares himself ready to face whatever punishment the people choose. The air is heavy, silent, until a figure emerges from the crowd. A white woman steps forward, announcing herself as Elizabeth Ketu. She presents a check for £7,000, explaining that her uncle, Father Ketu, has sent it on Hillary's behalf. The community erupts with murmurs. Though Hillary owes £10,000 in total, the leaders relent. If he pays the remaining £3,000 within a month, he will be forgiven. Furious, Nkemjika, who has schemed against Hillary from the beginning, protests, but his words are drowned out by the community's decision. On the way home, Vincent delivers the news Hillary has longed for. Teresa has been found. At last, Hillary returns to his home, where his wife awaits him. Their embrace is tender, tearful, filled with apology and forgiveness. Father Ketu's gift soon follows, a framed photograph from the festival day, a token of hope and renewal. And then the film shifts. The voice we've heard guiding us all along is revealed. It is Veronica herself, the real daughter, sharing the true life story of her parents, Hillary and Teresa. In an interview, she recounts their love, their trials and their triumph, as the community celebrates a bond that endured against impossible odds. The movie closes not with despair, but with love. Love that withstood betrayal, sickness, poverty, and shame. Love that, as Veronica reminds us, never fails. In her words, whether there are gifts of prophecy, or tongues, or hope, all these will pass away. But love never fails. And as the credits roll, we're left with that eternal truth, that in the face of suffering, loss, and even injustice, only true love has the power to endure. And so the story of Hilary and Teresa comes full circle. A story born out of pain, sacrifice, and unshakable love. Through betrayal, illness, poverty, and even the weight of public shame, Hilary's devotion never faltered. In the end, it wasn't power, money, or influence that saved them. It was love. The kind of love that endures storms, survives scars, and rises above every force determined to break it apart. As Veronica revealed, this was no fairy tale. This was real. A true life story of a man and woman whose bond remained unbroken. And if there is one lesson we take from their journey, it is this: kingdoms may fall, wealth may fade, but love, true love, never fails.